Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share a little bit of daily astrology with some tarot mixed in as well. If you're familiar with the channel, then you'll know that you'll notice right away, A, that you can see my face, which you usually can't, and B, you'll notice shortly that I have not drawn a chart for today. And I didn't draw a chart for today just because there's not really a lot going on the page, so I didn't feel like I really needed to draw a whole chart. And then I thought I was going to sit right here and do the reading with you, but it turns out that I'm holding up cards a lot and I'm getting a little confused about what I'm doing. So after this introduction, I'm just going to go right back to the format where you look at my table with the cards on it, and we'll talk that way. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your presence, and let's get into this. This reading consists of two cards. The card on the left here is the Nine of Cups, and it's here because it corresponds with the second 10 days, or the second decade of the sun's transit in the land of Pisces, which is where the sun is right now. Now, Pisces is a water sign. Cups in Tarot represent water element symbolism. Water element symbolism is very much about our emotions and our intuitions, how things feel to us. And, you know, that includes our physical sensations as well. And so we come to the Nine of Cups and we see this fellow who looks pretty satisfied with himself. This is a card about feeling comfortable. It's about feeling emotionally stable, like you're not having to deal with a lot of ups and downs, you're not having to deal with a lot of bad news, things are going well, right? And so we're able to sort of luxuriate in the joys that life has to offer at this time. It's a really good place to be. Now, it's the Nine of Cups, it's not the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups would be the ultimate expression of emotional satisfaction, of emotional fulfillment, right? So the Nine of Cups is a very good place to be, though. We've learned some lessons along the way. We've given of ourselves in places where we weren't reciprocated. We've given of ourselves in places where we thought we would find it and we didn't. We've given of ourselves in situations where we're like, oh, I don't want that to ever happen again, right? And finally, we learned the lesson. We said, okay, I'm going to give to myself to the right people under the right circumstances. And having learned how to do that, now we can sort of sit back and be comfortable, you know, be really satisfied with what we've done for ourselves in terms of having this emotional stability. Emotional stability really helps. It goes a long way toward making our days easier, toward making everything easier for us. So congratulations on the Nine of Cups, friends. And this card does come with a little bit of a warning, and that is, you know, we want to be careful not to become complacent. We want to be careful not to become smug, not to think that we are superior to other people because we figured something out that they haven't figured out yet. And also, you know, not to become, like start to take your good fortune for granted, because if you take your good fortune for granted, it might just slip away from you, right? You have to keep giving to the situation in the way that you did in the first place, so that, or the way that, you know, the way that the situation calls for, and not just think, oh, I achieved this, there's nothing more I have to do. Okay, and with all that said, I'm going to turn this card over. Hey, we got the Seven of Swords. All right, so we just had the Seven of Swords not long ago. This was my George Santos card. Do you remember? It's really about misrepresenting yourself. It's really about sort of taking other people's ideas or their circumstances, their situations, and speaking of them as though they were your own. You know, he said he went to a high school he went to, and he said all kinds of things that weren't real, right? And that's really just sort of like taking ideas and trying them on and like, you know, show up in a police officer's hat. Hey, I'm a police officer, right? No, that's not the way it works. So Seven of Swords, this is kind of a shady character sort of situation. This person, you know, may hope that, you know, it looks as though they're looking over their shoulder. They may hope that somebody, if they see them, will turn a blind eye to what they're doing, right? But here's the thing. The swords, they represent thoughts, plans, and communications. That's the air element there. And the thing is that when you misrepresent yourself or when you lie about yourself, people find out about it. There's no keeping secrets in the modern world. There are no secrets to be kept. I feel really extremely lucky that there wasn't like social media, like Facebook or anything like that when I was a teenager, because dang, I mean, I just really feel for the young ones today. I feel for all of us living in this sort of landscape, but really people can represent themselves in ways that are not true, that are not real. They can, take somebody else's idea, they can take somebody else's intellectual property and use it, or they can just pretend to be something that they're not. And when you humor them by turning a blind eye to what they're doing, you become complicit in that act. So neither do we want to be, we don't want to be dishonest about ourselves, and we also don't want to turn a blind eye to other people being dishonest about themselves, okay? And this is a step backwards. It's a step in the wrong direction. If you're a Seven of Swords right now, if you're using somebody else's thoughts, plans, communications, using somebody's words against them, manipulating media or manipulating people's words in such a way that you stand to gain from it, but they may stand to actually lose, then please stop it. Okay. If you haven't taken the vow to use your powers for good yet, please stop what you're doing. Put down all those swords and raise your right hand and say it after me. I hereby vow only and ever to use my powers for good. Okay. And what does this have to do with the astrology of today? Well, the sun is in Pisces and the moon is in Leo. And we do have a moon square to Uranus today. I'm really thinking about Mercury right now, the way Mercury is kind of making off from Saturn. Mercury and Saturn had a great big conjunction a couple of days ago, and it was a very serious-minded thing. It was like, okay, be serious and focus on the things that are really important, on those commitments that you made and those responsibilities that you have. Because if you have that serious mind that comes from the Mercury being conjunct to Saturn, and you focus it on not serious stuff, you're likely to make something serious that isn't, okay? And that can cause problems. But also if you ignore your responsibilities, especially when it's time to be really serious about your responsibilities, then, Saturn's going to come back and get you. I promise, right? So this, I see Mercury sort of running off from Saturn saying, hey, I worked pretty hard. That was super serious. And now I'm running off. That's what I see Mercury doing, but not in retrograde, not in reverse. And it's really not Mercury's style to be dishonest. Okay. Mercury is just a messenger. Literally, the idea is just to carry the message, right? So, if you find yourself in a situation where you're carrying the message and it turns out that the message you've been carrying was a misrepresentation of the truth. Oh, here it comes, friends. If you find yourself carrying a message and you realize that the message that you've been carrying is not the truth, all right? It's time to put it down, all right? We have to be really careful about that. This is not the way to find this, all right? This person has no peace of mind. Whether you're George Santos or any other politician or any other kind of person who, lives a facade as though they are one way when they are actually another way. Any person that misrepresents themselves, they're not experiencing that emotional contentment. Okay, that is not an emotionally stable place to be in. That is a frightening place to be in, and we're putting ourselves in a situation here. If we're the Seven of Swords, we're putting ourselves in a situation where we're not just sort of lying or stealing from somebody. We're a danger to ourselves and others, because swords are sharp and so are words. Okay, the thoughts that we use, the plans we make, we can use them to help or to do harm. And And generally speaking, if you came by them dishonestly, or if you find that they are not good representations of the truth, maybe you picked them up thinking that they were good representations of the truth. Maybe you realized it was kind of not really that truthful somewhere along the way, but now you feel like you have so much invested in it that you feel like you have to keep telling this lie as though it were the truth. Okay, don't do that. Just stop it. Because, I mean, really, wouldn't you rather have the emotional contentment, the ability to sort of enjoy life rather than, constantly looking over your shoulder and trying to figure out, like, who's going to call you out next? Oh, man, it's a terrible feeling, and there, I've been in this place in my life before where I felt like I was so right about a thing. I felt like I was really so right about a thing, and it makes you defensive, and it makes you likely to keep up, sort of lying to yourself and lying to other people. It makes you prone to keep up doing something that that isn't honest. To maintain a good defense so that you can continue to tell yourself that you're being honest, you're telling the truth, the message you've picked up and that you're carrying on. If it's not a good message and you just discovered that, or you discovered it a while back, but you still feel like you have to stand by it, just put it down. It's okay. You can put it down and you can quietly walk away and see who notices, right? Or you can put it down and just say, hey, that was my message, but I don't think that's my message anymore. Thanks for being patient with me, all. I'm gonna climb the track to emotional stability here. I'm gonna learn how to walk away without I'm gonna learn how to walk away and to not misrepresent myself or misrepresent the truth in the future. And that's going to make me feel better about myself, and it's going to make me feel happy with the world, and it's going to make me feel like I can really enjoy what life has to offer. All right, I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose. I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.